Hello, it's Fran Davidson from psychicandenergywork.com.au, and this is part 3 of my video monthly observations for July 2025. In this video, I'm coming off what I've written about the MOs, the how we are going to learn and develop, shift and evolve this month. In other words, the forces or the dynamics that might help us do those things over the course of July. So I've written a little about the MOs on the website in my monthly observations page. Please feel free to revisit that or visit it at your leisure. What I want to talk about in this video, I want to hone in on the specific MO for this July as it was in June. It's a 1179. In a sense, 1179, because it's 117, like double one can be know yourself. Know yourself. In other words, really, know you've got this. You've got this. You can do it. Even if you've never done it before, whatever it is. Yeah? On a spiritual, on an energetic, on an evolutionary level, it's not as if anything ever presents that self can't handle. Certainly it can feel like that at the time, and in no way am I trying to make light of anybody's situation. But 117 asks us to get out of our first response to challenge, right? Not because it's wrong, not because we shouldn't be having it. We have the response we have. But you see, of course, being partly egoic creatures, we can at times, especially when life turns in a way that we don't expect or seems out of our control, when things come at us in a way that we seemingly have no choice because of their loudness, it's very easy then to accept that as the rule of order. And of course, in some cases, as you could think of some around the world right now, that would very much be the reality in a physical sense as well. For those of us who have the luxury of not being in those zones, thank God, we can experience the 1179 more as a, shall we say, personal development zone. What do I mean by that? 11 asks us to know ourselves and back ourselves, to therefore know that we've got it, we've got this, we can do this, we can work through anything if we actually, first of all, remember that we've done that so far in our existence, even if this moment is a whole new moment. There is no reason why you can't make your way through it, however much you might stumble, however much you don't know to begin with. There is always help on hand, especially if you look after your spiritual and intuitive practice. There's always somebody you can ask, yeah, but also too, the fact that you're in it, the fact that you're doing it, it is a sign on one level that, yeah, even if you've never dealt with this before, you'll make sense of it. Just breathe, keep going, do what you need to do what you sense you need to do, but don't let mind, don't let panic railroad you into a place where tension only builds. Within this, therefore, is I'll use the word dare, I'm using that a lot today, but it is the dare to remember that, again, we're all partly egoic. And as such, in moments that feel louder as imbalanced states or wrong states, not quite right states, we are, of course, being invited to mentor our egoic self, the egoic part of ourself, beyond its affirmations, beyond its projections, beyond its statements as they are. Because, again, we're partly egoic, we are also partly divine. And another way of saying that is partly intuitive, partly well-guided, partly spiritual. Yes, yeah, partly, therefore, able to access all of the information and assistance on an idea level, on a breakthrough level, yeah, that we need at least as a first prompt or a first step. So what do I mean by this? 1179 let alone the other dynamics in this month's chart, may ask you to remember at certain times that you have the chance to mentor your egoic self in a way that you don't just let it drive. You don't let it keep hold of your microphone in a way that it's the only voice or even the loudest voice that you hear and respond to. Mentoring egoic self, it can always feel like a bit of a challenge when life takes a big turn. Yeah? Why is that? Because egoic self is a creature of habit. It's a creature of comfort. It is used to what it's used to. And because of that, when change comes, be it delightful or be it not so delightful, the first response can be to balk at that change and therefore to default into I can't, life won't support me. Yeah, I won't make sense of this. I won't be able to find my way through. So in a sense, egoic self is very much the negative voice. It's very much the short-term voice, the limited view, especially in the negative and the pessimistic. And so the minute we remember that, we can use breath to remember again that we also have this divine side, this intuitive, spiritual side, and therefore access to the big picture. And if you are, I'd say, in your adult years, you've lived enough moments to be able to review them in this very second to say, you know what, I've had bumps and scratches before. I've been in difficult moments before, and always somehow there's been a breakthrough, there's been assistance, there's been a way that I've made sense of it, irrespective of whether that happened in a day or a month or a year or whatever. Life supports. The breakthrough always comes, but only or especially if we let it. And so don't be surprised if this month presents to you certain moments where you're asked to, again, mentor egoic self, whether that's in you or whether that's in others. And what that requires is a good grounding in your spiritual download. Yeah? What is a spiritual download? In a sense, even that, it requires us to let go of what we think spiritual is from time to time, not because we reject what we've connected with or to, but more importantly, the divine is always higher again. That needn't be a place of struggle or effort to get to. But at the same time, even if we're connecting to really good energies, if that's the way to say it, really pure or really spiritual or really peace promoting energies, yeah, or guidance, we can always go higher again. We will always find ourselves in a bubble of containment or limit or restriction, often of our own perceptual making, if we dare to pull the pin out of our pocket and pop it using breath in a way that allows us to go to the next level of wisdom, the next level of big picture, and therefore the next level of guidance and spiritual divine assistance all over again. So in your practice, as you make time to use breath, especially if life is a bit overwhelming or a bit full on right now, allow yourself to go higher again, not because you leave your body or your reality, but because you allow yourself to pop the bubble around you, to therefore pop the projections around you, the bubble that is formed through the projections you can make, as we all do. Allow yourself to pop that bubble to allow the next level of the highest or purest to rain on in, to fall down, to come in from above, to flood your space, to flood your awareness, to flood your body, to flood your being on every level of definition that can have. Because the more you do this, the more you'll help yourself back to zero, back to seeing, back to releasing, and therefore back to clarity in every sense. 117 in closing, again, it asks us to remember you can do it, you will do it, especially if you allow good guidance in. Check the level of guidance you're at, not because you need to be skeptical or rejecting of it, but check it anyway. Allow yourself to go the next layer. Allow the divine to be even more real, even more helpful, even more giving, generous with its knowledge, its awareness than it has been before. Even more fulfilling on every level, all the way around you. The more we allow this, the more we stretch it from time to time, the more we can see ourselves settling into new layers of energy and therefore new positions as manifestors, as travelers who are more aware or conscious of energy and more able to allow it to assist us as we step forward and manifest as we do. Mentor your egoic self. It always enjoys the place it comes to when we mentor it well. Mentor it out of fear. Offer to take its hand. Here, come with me. You've done this before. Let me lead you to a good place. Can you feel that rightness? Can you feel the goodness? Can you feel the wholeness that I'm sensing right now? You can let go of your fear. You can let go of your forecasts. You can just let flow happen towards you in a way that also helps everyone else at the same time. Take good care. Call me if you want to learn this. Call me if you want to make sense of things or heal or process through them. Have a wonderful July, and thank you very much for tuning in. And by the way, go through to video number 4 now, where I'll talk about the end states this July is wanting to help us get to, realize, manifest.